Well, for a play about transportation, it's very apt that we've jumped on the motorway and headed up to Nottingham tonight for a play.
Yes, this play is Kindertransport, which we're catching at the Nottingham Playhouse.
Yes, so thank you for joining us, and do stick around to find out what we think of this, whether it's break a leg or leg it.
Yeah, hello fellow leggers, it's lovely of you to join us.
Yeah, great to see some old faces and some newbies round here. Pop down below, say hello.
And as usual, comment below, let us know what you are thinking. Kindertransport is what we're seeing this evening.
Yep.
I've never heard of it, I don't know it at all.
Well,
do you know it?
It's a 1993 play by Diane Samuels.
Okay, it's not that old.
No,
really.
But this revival commemorates the 80th anniversary of thousands of Jewish refugees, children, who were separated from their families and loaded onto trains bound for England. The trains, known as Kindertransport or child transport, helped to spare the lives of children in the face of the Nazi uprising, and the story told here is a dramatisation of one such child's life.
Okay.
It's also a bit of cross-generational because we seem to flip back between that period and the 1980s. There's a bit that's set in the 80s as well, so I've read, and we've been warned that it's a bit of a weepy.
Should have our tissues.
Yeah, bring a hanky.
Okay.
Talented cast of 6 for this, including Denise Black in the role of Lil. Now, we saw Denise Black in...
we saw her at the Almeida Theatre.
In Machinal,
that's
yes.
it.
But she's probably best known for her roles on Coronation Street and in...
Queer as Folk.
Where she played Hazel. Love her.
She was brilliant.
Bloody
Machinal.
love the woman. Cannot wait to see her again. This production directed by Fiona Buffini, who's the former Nottingham Playhouse Associate Director.
Okay, do we know how long?
Yeah, we do. It's around 1 hour 55 minutes, but that's including a 20-minute interval. So
it's not too
yeah,
long.
not an epic.
Through.
Not an epic, this one. We'll be chugging along at some pace, I should hope.
So stick around to find out our thoughts on the 30-second interval breakdown.
Yes, and how many stars at the end?
We've come to the interval, which means it is time for the break leggers 30-second interval breakdown.
Go! What do you think so far?
I'm really liking it. It's such a subtle piece, told so well. It moves really swiftly between the past and present, so I'm thoroughly engaged by the really good, solid performance. What a cast!
I
How
love
about
it.
you?
I'm just floored already, even at the interval. I sort of don't want to say too much and give too much away, but it could quite possibly be the best half of the show that I've seen, and I cannot wait to get back inside.
So we've come to the end of this very fast...
We've arrived at our destination via Kindertransport.
Now, this is a piece neither of us had... I'd never even heard of the piece.
No, and it only came to my attention since I found out they were staging it. So again,
which is really interesting, I guess, in terms of putting a program together, an artistic program. You know, what do you put in? I guess you draw on what you know, and I guess this is a bit of a bold move because I don't know how many other people. Had you heard of it before?
Let us know.
Let us know. Is it popular?
It's not done every day. It's not one of these sort of wheel
not a
out
Hamlet.
I never see
It's
another
not a Sweeney
bloody
Todd.
Hamlet.
Anyway, Kindertransport. So, what did you make of it?
I am flabbergasted, blown away. I am moved, enthralled. I am exhilarated. I thought it was a fantastic couple of hours. I am amazed at the sort of, you know, here's a bit of a juice. I'm amazed at the chutzpah of it, to take that sort of subject matter and to turn it into a dramatisation full of strong female characters with a female director at the helm. I think it was, for 1993, it was almost ahead of its time, and as for now, it's never been more resonant.
Wow.
I was all right, like.
What an accolade. I've got to say, I absolutely bloody loved it. I'm not sure if it's also because I had no expectations whatsoever. The only good thing I was thinking is it's quite pacey if it's only an hour and 55. Now it's quite short, and he should be home soon. bloody hell was it good. Fantastic writing, fantastic performances. I'm sure we'll get on to more of the breakdown of what is, but I think you're right, it's a story we know that has been touched on a lot about the movement of Jews, the treatment of Jews, and how the children had to then fleed. I mean, I guess it is less a story I didn't really know about. I know of the movement within Britain of the children from the main cities to the countryside. I wasn't so much aware of the refugee movement of the Jewish children from Germany and surrounding area to other European countries.
Strong point is I know, and we talk about the humanity of something, but I think it's the relativity of it all. It's being able to relate to it on a different level. You know, you read these things in history books, so you see dramatisations of the actual movement, but seeing the human impact on a family level, on a sort of orphan level, and just having that sort of groundingness of it all, and it just seeming more sort of personal in a way. That's
You're absolutely right, and I think that's it. We hear about nowadays, recently it's been about Trump and the movement of the people from within the USA, all these children being stripped from their parents, and it's just a news story. It's like, oh, that's a bit sad, oh, that's a bit rubbish, or what's Trump doing today? But we don't actually know what is that doing to them on an individual level. What is happening to that child, and what is going to happen to that child when that child becomes a parent? What things are going to haunt that child, that when they're an adult, still inside is the shell of a child that is afraid, that is scared of losing everything. And I think you're absolutely right, that's what this does. It shows us what happens. It makes that human element.
What is the legacy of those things that just seem like a news story?
And it's another thing I love is we hear on the news about the stories of people who risk their lives on boats across the Mediterranean seas and all these other seas, fleeing these war-torn countries, and the lengths they go to just to survive, and it kind of shines a whole light on that. It makes all of that so real. Anyway,
bloody brilliant
writing. In terms of its writing and its themes, it's really intelligent, really clever.
It is, but that would be nothing if it wasn't for a fantastic director. And my God, has Fiona Buffini done a brilliant job in understanding the text and stripping it right back. Sort of, there's very little set. It's not huge set changes.
It's a beautiful set.
It's beautiful, but it's simple. Really effective lighting has done a wonders for it.
Lit.
Another woman, Alexandra Stafford. Bloody good, brilliant, fantastic.
Fantastic stuff. And I've also got to say the soundscape, the musical accompaniment. Who's just done the sound for
There's composer, sound designer John Nichols. Fantastic. If only it had been Joan Nichols, he might have had a full house there. But no, well done, John. But female designer, set designer Madeline Gerling, highly feminine.
The production team on this is absolutely fantastic, simple and yet beautifully told and illuminated, and like the set I think was only on about 7 or 8 layers, slowly going back and intertwined little levels, and the lighting coming down in moments. It moved very quick between past and present, scene and scene, so just being able to drop in and out was great. Cast.
Let's go on to the cast. Now,
what a cast. This is one of the best casts I've seen as a complete entirety.
The casting director for this is actually Stuart Burt, who casts for the Jamie Lloyd Company, and he gets some great actors, doesn't he, Jamie Lloyd? So you can see the strength there, but my God, did they get it right here. Let's talk about the sole male of the company first, Patrick Osborne, predominantly as the rat catcher, but also has some great comic relief moments, which are much needed in this piece, where it could be really dark, dismal and depressing. He has a likeness to him that really lifts it. I thought he did a great job.
And he plays many characters as well, all of the male characters, and all of them were pretty different as well. Really strong figure.
Then, excuse me, I'm just getting over the audience were coffee, weren't they? Not coffee as in, Arabica. Rebecca D'Souza as Helga, the Jewish German mother that is forced to leave her daughter behind.
She's familiar to me. I don't know where from, but she was very familiar. She was really great. Lovely makeup as well. We see her before going into kind of...
And then in Act 2, she looks like shit.
Going through the concentration camp ordeal, and she looked completely different, and the costume as well, being oversized to make her seem thin, lovely. And the wig as well, some fantastic
Anything
stuff.
about her acting?
She was brilliant.
Okay, great. Just
But
not just a wig. More than just Rebecca D'Souza. More than just a wig. Like that underneath her
She
bio.
was great, but how those elements came together to tell her story really helped us buy into that.
Elena Breschi, as Faith, the daughter, the young now daughter.
She was great, full of attitude,
You
full
weren't
of
sure about her
feisty
at
independence.
first.
I think story-wise it's really difficult because all we're introduced to is a teenager who is absolutely...
Stropping.
Yeah, and it's hard for us to buy into that. Very quickly, though, we realise why that is, and that the haunting, tragic past of the mum has its echoes on her life. So that we buy into that, and very quickly we move on from there. But it's very tricky for us to care for those
Hammer
kind of characters.
as Evelyn, so the grown-up mother starts off as I mean, we're giving too much away plot-wise here.
No, because we know who she is very early on, and there's only at that moment I was like, we know what's happening, we know who she is, the way it's been told. There's no secrets.
Comes
I
into
thought she
her
was
own in the second act, right?
phenomenal acting again for us to care for this panic-stricken.
Grief-stricken, sort of pining for the life that she left behind and struggling to come to terms with her own personal
Torn
loss. You know, that's sort of part of her. I would almost say sort of soul-sucking. That's the only way I can explain it. Sort of, has her soul sucked out of her,
Lost.
and you are sucked with her.
Man, if this was in town, I would want her to be nominated. I thought she was that good. I thought she was fantastic in that second act.
Now, gotta say, for me, probably star of the show. Oh my God, I haven't seen a performance to that calibre since Denise Goff in People, Place and Things. Was the role of Ava, played by Jenny Walser. Young girl, very few credits. My God, if this was in town, we would be, I would say, Olivier nomination.
Where are we?
Yeah, where are we?
Olivier
nom.
Yeah, it's a fantastic performance. She drives. I think more of the first act, a lot of her stuff is so juicy. Second act, just as much. But every single nuance, a moment, and there's a lot of scenes where she drops very quickly from place to place, and every single moment was different and placed. It was beautiful.
Like unbelievably skilled, unbelievable understanding of the text. A director's dream, I should well imagine, and I am bowled over by her. But let's just talk about my personal queen for a moment. If you haven't guessed, I love Denise Black.
She was very good.
And playing the role of Lil here, she just shows... Do you know what Denise is great at?
What?
She's great at everything, but she's particularly great at those moments that switch from extreme angst, anger and depression to comedy. Like the way she flits between them is a real skill. She has to, in one scene, sort of traverse not only those emotions, but entire decades of a woman's life and the experiences that have gone in between and the things that we don't see. And I really believe every single word that woman says.
I just think she was just very good at being. She was just there, and she wasn't trying, but internally I could see and feel it all. There was no trying to go, I need to do this. She was just present and in the moment, and that's the top class.
One of the greatest stage actresses of our generation, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion.
She's bloody good.
So let's round it up.
Talking of our opinion,
for Kindertransport, playing here at the Nottingham Playhouse in this brand new production, we are going to give 5
stars for this piece, and boy, is it worth every single one of them. I want this to transfer.
I want everyone I know to see this show. I will be sending people, everywhere within this area and even beyond, and saying, get yourself on a Kindertransport, get yourself on a train, come up to Nottingham and witness fantastic storytelling, and you went so far as to say possibly the best regional theatre
I think it is.
we've ever seen.
Best regional theatre I've seen. Do you know, they've had stuff from the Nottingham Playhouse transfer. The Kite Runner did a great run at 84. The Playhouse, 1984. Didn't that also transfer to Broadway as well?
Yeah, it did.
And so there's some great stuff here. They've got King George III coming up. Madness of King George, is it? That's going to be anti-live. So great stuff comes from here. I want this to transfer. I think it has a home in London.
I would agree, but that's not going to happen unless you come and see it. So come and see it and encourage it. But yeah, I'm going to be thinking and talking about this piece for a long, long time.
But that's just what I think.
It's just what he thinks. It's sometimes just what I think. Between us, we're the Break-a-Leggers, and we'll catch you again soon. Bye!